wrong.
Well, if you insist.
He fell off the chimney.
Laugh your way through Christmas with BBC iPlayer.
Now on BBC One, the Boxing Day news with Christy and Fraser.
Today at 1, a Russian warship has been damaged in a Ukrainian attack. The jet struck Russia's Black Sea fleet in the occupied port of Fedosia. We'll assess what that means for the war. The Boxing Day sales are in full swing, with figures suggesting there are more people hunting bargains than last year. A glimpse behind the scenes in the life of the new king. A BBC documentary reveals previously unseen footage of the coronation. It airs tonight. And for the first time in 15 years, a black referee takes charge in a Premier League match. Good afternoon. A Ukrainian missile strike has damaged a Russian warship in the Black Sea. The Novocherkassk was hit during an overnight attack on the port of Fedosia in Russian-occupied Crimea. Ukraine claims to have destroyed the vessel. Local officials say at least one person was killed. James Waterhouse joins us from the Poltava region in central Ukraine. James, give us a sense of how significant this attack is.
Well, Christian, it is significant in the sense that Ukraine can still navigate Russian air defences and strike in the heart of a peninsula that Russia has held so tightly onto since 2014. Now, the Novocherkassk was in port in Fedosia, suggesting that it was probably being loaded with men, equipment, or both. Now, this is a major vessel. It's enormous, and it will no doubt hamper Russia's ability to supply troops further north in Ukrainian territory it occupies. What is less clear is for how long operations will be disrupted. We've seen Ukraine launch long-range missiles over the past year to great effect for Kyiv. It's undermined Russia's presence there, and it's also frustrated supply lines. There is no doubt that Russia's navy, the dominance it enjoys in the Black Sea and off the coast of Crimea, that has been weakened slightly with these long-range missile strikes, to the extent that some ports are no longer completely blockaded. But I don't think that we are going to see it influence the front lines immediately, which Ukraine would so dearly want to happen. Russia has not only held on to the fifth of Ukrainian territory it occupies, but it's attacking as well in some areas. But this is much needed good news for Kyiv against a backdrop of waning Western support.
James Waterhouse in Kyiv, thank you very much for that. High streets across the UK are open after the Christmas break, hoping to attract shoppers with the Boxing Day sales. Festive spending in high street stores was up 3.5% on last year, according to the latest research from Mastercard. The figures suggest online spending declined by more than 2.5%. Theo Leggett is in Kingston upon Thames in Surrey Forest. So how's it looking, Theo?
Well, as you can see behind me, it is pretty busy here, but it's not what you would call packed. And I was just talking to a shopkeeper who was telling me it's a bit like a busy Saturday. So we haven't seen hordes of people come out. Some shops have queues in them, others don't. And that's kind of the big picture at the moment. Retailers need to do well this week. They did okay before Christmas, a bit better than last year, but they're still likely to have a lot of unsold stock, and they need to be maximising their revenues this week. The problem is the Boxing Day sales are not in every sense what they used to be, what they traditionally were, and we may have to wait until later this week to see what the big picture really is. Christmas is done, the leftovers are in the fridge, and on the high street the sales stickers are out in force. The Boxing Day sales were once a major annual event, eagerly awaited by bargain hunters. But in recent years, pre-Christmas discounting events such as Black Friday have stolen some of that cachet. It's also possible these days to shop online and find hefty reductions throughout the festive period.
It's the first time in a long time that we've come out on Boxing Day shopping. We normally do it online.
We normally do it online, and the missus wanted to come up in the morning, and we just thought, fancied a change, thought why not.
So All Saints had a really good Black Friday sale on White Company. These are places we'd shop, and they were so much better, but we were holding out for Boxing Day sales because We always come without the kids and it's time for us, but yeah. They're rubbish.
Some high street retailers won't be opening today. They include big names such as Marks & Spencer, Next and John Lewis. But experts say enticing offers shouldn't be hard to find.
A lot of people spent less this year on their Christmas shopping because of the cost of living crisis. As a result, retailers have a lot more stock in their hands. So the good news for you and me is that there'll be bigger discounts post-Christmas.
The question is whether people will actually have money to spend. Polling from Barclays suggests they will. It's predicting shoppers will spend an average of £253 each over the coming days. That would be the highest level in 4 years. But for high street retailers, there's another major challenge. Many consumers now prefer to do their shopping online from the sofa. So persuading them to surrender their phones and tablets and rush into the town centre is not going to be easy. So what can we expect? Well, the data's a bit mixed at the moment and we won't really know for a few days. But voucher codes are suggesting that people will spend about £3.7 billion today in the Boxing Day sales. Now that sounds like a lot of money, but it would still be 3% lower than last year. And the fact that some of the retail chains, the big ones, aren't opening really doesn't help. So in fact, what many experts are saying that tomorrow, the day after that and the day after that are likely to be absolutely key now. That's when retailers hope that they will gather the momentum that can take them into the rest of the winter on a high note. And they're really hoping that people don't just come out to shop, but they've actually got money to spend despite the rising cost of living. Christian, back to you.
Theo, thank you. Theo Leggett there in Kingston upon Thames. Israel is taking more casualties in the war in Gaza, but the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he will intensify the war against Hamas, designated a terror organisation by the UK government. There are fears, though, that the conflict could spread further across the region. The United States says it has carried out what it calls necessary and proportionate airstrikes against pro-Iranian militias based in Iraq in response to attacks on American bases in the region. Our correspondent Shaima Khalil reports from Jerusalem.
Standing in what used to be her home. Our things, Mom. They're gone. Israel's bombing of Rafah in southern Gaza has continued, leaving those who fled there at a loss of where to go.
Israel claims that there are safe residential areas or secure zones, but this attack shows that that's a lie.
Israel's military operation has intensified in Khan Yunis, also in the south. Little Amal was sleeping with her family. The bomb hit them and killed her uncle. We were sleeping, she says. Then I heard a big bang. Rocks landed on us. Amal's baby sister is 3 days old. Baby Mariam is bearing the brunt of a conflict she was born into. As the military operation deepens into Gaza, tensions have risen on Israel's northern border with Lebanon. Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has visited troops in the north after he said they'd received cross-border fire from Hezbollah, with the IDF targeting some of the group's infrastructure.
Hezbollah looks at what's happening in Gaza and understands very well what we did in Gaza can also be done in Beirut.
Hezbollah operatives were also targeted by the U.S. in Iraq. The Pentagon said U.S. forces carried out airstrikes against what it called Iran-sponsored militias in response to an attack on the Erbil air base. Israel's war in Gaza is not close to being over, says the Prime Minister. And in its wake, other fronts grow more tense in already volatile areas in the region. Shaima Khalil, BBC News, Jerusalem.
The King's Christmas message proved the most popular viewing on Christmas Day, with more than 7 million people tuning in to watch. The Strictly Come Dancing Christmas special was second, ahead of Doctor Who. The overnight ratings include people watching on TV and some catch-up services. Tonight, the King and other members of the royal family feature in a behind-the-scenes programme on BBC One and iPlayer at 10 to 7. Our royal correspondent Daniela Relf has more.
The coronation rehearsals inside Westminster Abbey, an important practice for all the family.
Wow, look at that food.
And a greeting from a grandfather and father, as well as a king about to be crowned.
What struck me particularly is how extraordinarily affectionate they are. They're clearly a very close family, you know, of all the generations. And in a sense, you felt you're part of a family occasion as well as, you know, a royal occasion and a national occasion.
For the first time, the programme will show the intricate preparations and alterations that were made to the crowns used during the coronation. And on the big day, after the service, cameras film the welcome back at Buckingham Palace. The programme is not a critical eye over the royal family's year. There is no mention of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry and Meghan, nor Prince Andrew. It is instead a view of some of those moments we don't normally get to see.
I just love the way all the sun comes through the containers.
It's marvellous, isn't it?
For those who know them best, amidst the noise of Coronation Year, a reminder of something very personal.
She is his rock. And I can't actually emphasise that enough. She's somebody who is completely loyal, and she isn't somebody who has huge highs and lows. He brings to her everything. I'm not talking about all of this, but, you know, he has such a knowledge and interest in so many different things which she wouldn't really have been open to if she hadn't met him.
All access to the royal family is carefully managed, but here the curtain is slightly lifted on some of the more private moments of a very public year.
Knew that.
Yes.
Daniela Ralph, BBC News.
The Boxing Day football fixtures are already underway, and the man taking charge of this afternoon's clash between Luton and Sheffield United is Sam Allison. It's the first time a black referee has officiated a top-flight game in the Premier League for 15 years. Our sports correspondent Nesta McGregor has been looking at why it's taken so long.
The referee, by the way, Sam Allison, he was going to be in charge at the weekend.
Does the name Sam Allison mean anything to you?
Sam Allison?
No.
No.
Not to me, Dan. Yeah, first black referee after 15 years.
Today, Sam Allison becomes the second ever black referee in the Premier League when he takes charge of Sheffield United against Luton Town. But Sam Allison's appointment has led some football fans to wonder why his announcement is such big news.
This shouldn't be shocking, as in it should be the normal already.
Why does it matter? If he's black, green, whatever, as long as he's bloody good.
Terrestrial television may not have screened Wigan live.
The league's first black referee was Uriah Rennie from 1997 to 2008. Back then, Ian Wright was one of the stars of the league, scoring goals rather than analysing them. He says he's surprised at the lack of progress 15 years on.
I think that referees are a species that's in trouble, you know, when you look at what they go through at grassroots level. So the conveyor belt of people coming through, you know, Asian and black referees are out there. We need to find out where the blockage is.
Ashley Hickson-Lovence left the game in 2019 after 5 years as a Level 4 referee.
Level 4 in the refereeing ladder is known as the black man's graveyard. I was doing everything I can to come across as professional as I can the next day, especially if I had an observer, you know. And I started to hear certain things that would imply that there was more at play here than just my ability to referee on the football field. It's a sort of amalgamation of the comments and the marks and the stories and the anecdotes and all of it combined, because there's more at play, and you can feel it in, you know, you can feel it in the atmosphere. You know, as a person of colour, you do know.
A spokesperson for the FA told us that recruitment, retention and development of referees from all backgrounds is fundamental to our new strategy, and we want to ensure that everyone can feel valued and supported at all levels of the game. And with these positive changes being made, this season Ashley has returned to the game he loves.
The FA are doing really good things, and you know, the appointment of Sam Allison just epitomises some of the changes that are taking place.
Nesta McGregor, BBC News.
Yeah, best of luck to Sam Allison. It's time for a look at the weather. Here is Stav Dedeus. Hi, Stav.
Hi there, Christine. Thank you very much. Hello there. Well, the Boxing Day weather could be described as the calm before the storm, as the weather's really ramping up over the next few days. We've got Storm Gerrit, next named storm, issued for tomorrow. Heavy rain, gales and some significant snow on Scottish hills, and it stays wet and windy as we head into Thursday as well. This is Storm Gerrit brewing in the Atlantic. We're in between weather systems, so hence the fine weather through the rest. rest of today. Plenty of sunshine around, on the chillier side than what we've been used to, but we have the sunshine to compensate. Just a few showers there, a bit more of a breeze for northeast Scotland. Temperatures in single figures for most, but the temperature will be lifting in the southwest as we start to see cloud, wind and rain pushing in. Storm Gerrit races northwards through tonight. Now, a cold start to the night across the northern half of the country, some frost and ice across Scotland. As the rain bumps into that cold, they're likely to see some snow for the North Pennines and certainly increasingly across Scotland. But temperatures recovering in the south, cold across the north. So here it is then, Storm Gerrit very much with us for Wednesday. Lots of isobars on the chance, heads to gales or even severe gales and heavy rain spreading northwards. Some concerns of the amount of snow falling across the hills of Scotland above 200 metres, probably in excess of 15 centimetres in a few places. If you factor in the wind, we'll see drifting and blizzard-like conditions. So some atrocious weather to come through tomorrow. They're dangerous weather, in fact. Wet, windy weather spreading its way northwards and eastwards through the day, brightening up a little bit across the west later, but those winds are a real feature, gusting up to 60 miles an hour through the Channel. Severe gales for the northeast of Scotland, the Northern Isles later on, probably in excess of 75 miles an hour here. Temperatures double figures across England, Wales, Northern Ireland, but cold across Scotland, and it remains unsettled through the rest of the week and the run up to New Year as well. But head online to check out all the latest weather warnings in force for Storm Gerrit. Could be some severe impacts there. Christian.
Wrap up warm. Thank you, Stav, for that. That is the BBC News this Boxing Day lunchtime. We're back again at 20 to 5. You can keep up with all the latest developments on the BBC website. The news continues here on BBC One, as now it's time to join our colleagues across the nations and regions for the news where you are. Goodbye.
Good afternoon. An 86-year-old man's died after the car he was in collided with another in Northumberland. It happened at the junction between the A1 and the B6349 in Belford on Saturday. A man, woman and 2 children in the other car were treated for